Well, again, probably all sat there going, okay, what's going on? She's sweet this week. Lucky you, eh? Or not. Right. You're probably thinking, oh God, he's either going to try and terrify us again or shout at us. Oh no. Me and Marley. Say hello, Marley. Me and Marley realise that maybe my last few videos have been a bit pessimistic. So I'm gonna try and rectify that. This is what's happening now. The situation as a whole, whether Trump wins or not, and martial law very likely coming in, was an inevitability. It always was. It's something that they've been pushing for about 4 years, since the start of the pandemic, and everyone started protesting. In fact, it's critical that they instill martial law for the rest of their plans to go ahead. And up to now, they've been delayed every single time because we didn't buy it. Apart from Australia did, and they enacted martial law there, and then they could get everyone to basically submit. Everything that was laid out in the UN a few weeks ago in their Pact for the Future necessitates martial law to be in to combat any pushback, inevitable pushback, because people aren't going to like what they want to do, what they're after doing. We will resist, and they know that. So martial law was meant to mitigate the amount of pushback they were going to get. Unfortunately for them, all the martial law in the world isn't going to save them, and they know it. They know it. This plan has been barreling ahead since around the 1960s. If you look up Richard Day and his speech that he gave to, it was a Masonic order back in the 60s, Dr. Richard Day. He said then that it was a freight train, a railway train with no driver that was running away. It was that inevitable what they were going to do was going to succeed, which is why he was telling everyone. Unfortunately, they didn't bank on the internet taking off like it did and was using it like it did, like we did. Same with social media. Or they also miscalculated the amount of people that were actually awake and kind of sort of put more faith in their progeny that would take over this plan than they should have. In 2019, when they released the COVID plan, it basically locked them in to a end game, shall we say. Everything from that point forward, there was no getting out for them. And they assumed no getting out for us. They had all the behavioural models all laid out, all telling them that things would go this way and that way and this way and that way. And they were very confident, maybe a little too confident. Back in mid to late 2021, there was a letter that was sent to a news site in Ireland. It's not very reputable, right? Called the Irish Sentinel. It was from a Canadian MP. Got an idea who it was, but I'll not mention the name just in case. Yeah. But anyway, in this letter, it detailed the plan and everything going up to the point of martial law had gone exactly as they predicted. And still was. It was the martial law part where they got stuck. Oh yes, they did. You see, in order for martial law to get instilled, you needed mass civil unrest. And everything they did to antagonise the public with the police in the US and the UK and in several of the European states was fruitless. It didn't work. We wouldn't bite, we wouldn't attack. And that was on purpose. Every time someone came up with the idea of kicking off, if they were going to kick off, we told them implicitly, all over Telegram and everywhere else, do not do that, because that's what they want. And each time, each delay that they had to skip that part and start enacting the next part of their plan, whilst waiting for martial law, all the time. And because of these missteps, things didn't make sense, and more people started waking up. The more steps they missed, the more people started to wake up, and the more steps they would have to miss out. And they got themselves into a downward spiral. I likened it to a set of monkeys, paraplegic monkeys, steering an oil tanker through a storm, through a force 9 storm and circling a whirlpool. In other words, they're fucked. And that's where they are now. This with this election, right? Engineered as it is, right? Whether Kamala wins or not, right, it's going to end up with martial law. At one point, they would have been relying on not many people being, one, behind Trump, and two, actually realising that maybe their political figures aren't who they say they are, aren't working for who they say they are, i.e. us. And this has grown to huge numbers now. The minute they try and instill martial law of any kind, they're done for, and they know it. But they have to do it. They have to do it. They have to take the chance, one, because if they don't, they can't move forward, everything will collapse. But if they do, we'll resist in too large a number, and everything will collapse. This is the catch-22 they're in. We're at the end of this, people. We are. All this in the Middle East was to distract you from what was going on. Yeah? Do you understand now why Israel isn't behind everything, why they're taking orders, why every faction in the Middle East is taking orders, and why World War III is not going to start there? Is it starting to make sense yet? They're expecting during the civil conflict that they were going to have a larger number on their side in support. Not just civilian, but military as well. And that's not what they've got. They've got far less than they need, and they know they're going to lose. They won't use nukes because they still want to live here too. They can't stay underground forever. They want to live to be able to see the world as theirs. It's not going to happen. So they won't use nukes. Before anyone says they don't exist, yes they do. My great uncle works on the UK's nuke weapons programme in the 50s and 60s. So yeah, I know they're real. In fact, you can read his books on my Telegram page. But anyway, it's beside the point. We're in the end game, and we're going to win. And everything looks horrific at the moment, and like we're going to lose, but that's not the case. It's their last hurrah, and it's not going to work. They're probably going to leave us to simmer for a bit. Probably won't enact martial law straight away. I reckon they'll leave it till January, and then they'll have to refuse to certify Trump, or whatever it is to do in January. That will basically trigger martial law kamala will be installed, and then it all kicks off. But we're all prepared for that now. Or if you're not, make sure you are. Get this into your mind. This is what needs to be done. Because when that happens, and when that kicks off, it'll happen everywhere. It will happen everywhere. Because it was designed, this plan was designed to react that way. It's like a series of dominoes falling. Every nation will rise up. And the civil conflict that they thought they were going to win isn't going to go their way. We just have to make sure that none of them are able to sneak in and take over after. And that's going to be the hard part. Anyway, that's my positive message for the day.